Left at the Door podcast and vlog where we, a group of friends, get together and talk about the things or the people that we left at the door in order to love or grow, succeed, thrive, survive, all the things. And today we've got a guest. And one word. We just are going to say it's Tat.
It's Tat.
That's it. That's all we got to say.
That's a fact, and that rhymes all the time.
It is good to have you on. We were just talking earlier off the air about all the times that our paths have crossed.
Yeah.
And like sometimes we didn't even realize it, you know?
I didn't know you were vouching for me back in the day.
I was.
I started radio broadcast when I was 15. You're like, hey, we got to steal that guy.
That guy's good.
Yes.
That guy's good.
I know talent, recruitment.
He has a future. Yeah. They didn't listen to you though.
No, and it was always about, oh, well, it's competition. He's on another station. I'm like, okay, but he's great. He's
need him
good.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Get him on our station.
That's what exactly. Like, grow that side, that brand.
The ball, as they would say. They dropped the ball on that one.
But you also have to keep in mind, when I started in broadcasting at that point, I started mentoring when I was a senior in high school. So, like, same thing. It's kind of like the situation. Just like you kind of already knew what you wanted to do.
Yep.
And so at that point, I kind of was like, oh, I get it. I'm young and whatever. But then once I went into it, I'm like, why does nobody else notice this?
Yep.
You know? Yeah.
Okay, a bunch of old white dudes.
Yeah. So I guess fill listeners and viewers in.
Who are you?
Yeah, who are you?
Oh,
and why do you not require more than just a first name?
I'm the double T with an A in the middle. They call me Tat. It's just my initials. I have 0 tattoos. I tried to come up with a name when I first got in radio broadcasting. I think I had something like T-Money or something. I had no money. I was 15. That made no sense. And I was like, if I'm going to grow into this, I don't want it to be silly.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, my initials spell out something.
Do we get to know what that stands for?
Terrance Taylor.
Oh.
Somebody asked me, is your middle name Archibald? I said, I wish it was.
You should just tell people that.
Dang.
Now we're changing
Terrance
it.
and Archibald Taylor?
Yeah. That sounds like money.
That sounds
like money.
It does. That sounds like white money.
It sounds like white people's money.
Archibald.
The Archibald.
It does.
Who named you? Was it an old white man? It could have been. It could have been. But Tat came from that. Ooh, and that rhymes too.
Do you also compose music?
Are
you a lyricist?
No.
I want some freestyle right now.
I thought I was going to be, I don't know what it is. Growing up, I got born and raised here in Decatur. Growing up on the west end of town. Growing up as a young African-American male, the only successful people that you see are athletes and entertainers. So at one point, I thought for sure I was going to be the next big rapper.
Who was your idol there?
In rapping?
Yeah.
At that time, nobody. Like, I grew up on old school James Brown and Michael Jackson.
Oh, okay.
You know,
soul music.
Yeah. It had to be funky. But growing up during that time, you know, the hip hop dudes were reigning supreme. But I like old school Kanye West, not the new one. He's changed.
Pre-Kim?
Yeah,
old
before he
Pre-Kim.
went to the sunken place.
I think it's before his mom passed.
Yeah, before his mom died.
That old Kanye pre-mom passed.
That changed him.
That
changed
did.
him.
Yeah,
he completely is different. But I like soulful music and funk.
So you thought you were going to be a rapper.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be a rapper. Quickly found out that they don't make any money. And I was already not making any money. I said, I want to go into another field where, you know. But I knew that I was destined to be involved in the community.
So you think you're going to be a rapper. You think you're going to go into that.
Yes.
Your personality, have you always been this way?
Oh.
Or have you finally felt like you've come into your own once you got into the entertainment and went into broadcasting? And
I always was this. Extroverted, but more private with loved ones. People don't believe me when I say that I was more introverted growing up. I was always the shy kid. And people are like, I don't believe you.
Well,
I can't
why
see
would
you
I
now.
lie about that?
I was. You're lying. You're filled with lies. But growing up, it wasn't up until my junior year, once I had started getting my feet wet in radio broadcasting, that I was comfortable enough to be myself in front of my peers. You know, I quickly felt like I didn't have to be someone that I wasn't. So I always felt like that was my superpower. I never felt like I had to emulate different individuals, and I found out that will serve me to where I am today. Like, I didn't have to be someone that I wasn't.
And it's so valuable to be consistent when you're...
And that's what it is.
When you're, working with people, and when you're being authentic, it's easier to be consistent.
People always say, you're the same Tat I see at the grocery store, the same Tat I see on the stage. And you sound like, well, yeah, because it's easier to be yourself. It's harder to come up with a persona, and that's why I quickly didn't go by T-Money.
You're like, that's
a lie.
Exactly.
I don't want to start out the gate lying.
Well, you get more validation when you are authentic.
Yes.
And people like you.
And people like you, like, oh my God, people like me just as me. I can be funny. I can be quirky. I can be that, and people are okay
rocking
with it.
With me, you know?
I want to know what went through your head at the age of 15 to walk into the radio station and apply for a job.
Well, I knew I always wanted to be in radio because radio always interests me. I was back in the day, like in elementary, pretend I was on the radio with that big red button and that black button. Bam.
Like Casey Kasem.
Casey Kasem. Special guest was my siblings, my little siblings. They were my special guests.
Yeah.
I was recording music from BET and MTV when they played music back then.
Yep.
Before it was
the good old days.
The good old days.
Now, before it was the real life.
The real,
I like me some real life.
Oh, it's so
where's
entertaining.
My music?
But yeah.
Where's the music videos at? It's on World Star. Okay, and YouTube.
That's a whole nother segment. That's a whole nother topic. Yeah.
Where are the music videos? Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
They don't well, no, they exist, but you gotta find them.
You gotta YouTube them.
You gotta YouTube them. You do gotta YouTube them. So I knew I wanted to be in radio broadcasting. I just didn't know how to get in there. You know, up until things just align, you guys. Okay, they're aligned. So the program director of the Hits and Oldies station, which is now the sports station, Magic 1050. Now it's 1050 The Fan or ESPN. One of those things. He was my track and field coach, and he also was my neighbor.
Really?
So I would bug him all the time to let me get on the radio. You know. But it wasn't up until I was in high school he seen my work ethic and that I showed up on time like I did today.
You did. Very punctual.
Yep.
Very punctual. I didn't want to be that stereotypical black guy who showed up late. I got here early.
We need that on
for the record. Okay? I was here on time, ready to rock and roll. So you seen my work ethic.
We were the ones fucking around. We weren't
Y'all
ready.
were fucking around. I was getting smells. They didn't offer any salads.
I know.
We did.
You had drinks.
Or Aaron. You know, we stiffed the last guest too, so. We're just dicks.
Yeah.
Now you know it.
You're dinglings. Okay. As the kids would say.
Dinglings.
You're welcome.
I don't think my kids have ever heard that word.
Well, now they will.
Have you ever heard the phrase, you look like a Jake? You can't wear that. You look like a Jake.
No.
Does he seem Irish to you?
It could be. It's we talked
Is that
about
what
this.
your kids be saying?
Well, my family is like super Irish.
Oh, okay.
So like my great grandma had all these phrases that we just thought were normal, and that they say them all the time. And I would like say them at school, and they'd be like, "What?" So because I have a Jack. He was kind, and it basically is like you don't look put together. It's basically what like being a Jake is. So I told Jack that. I said, "Buddy, you gotta go change, honey. Like that's not really appropriate to wear." I was like, "You look like a Jake." And he goes, "Well, I don't want to look like a Jake. I want to look like a Jack." So now I want to know all these phrases. Do people know them?
No. They do not.
Dingling, Jason. Yeah. Now you know. Add that.
They know Dingleberry.
Yeah,
because
Dingleberry.
Dustin calls Jimmy a Dingleberry.
So lovingly.
Dingleberry. Yeah.
So the growth and the.
I love how you bring us back.
I know I am because
she
I'm
has
so.
to. She knows now that she knows.
I can go on tangents.
I know. I want to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Rising of Tat. So you basically badger your track coach.
Yeah, I badgered him to death, but it wasn't up until he seen me in action and how I worked well with others that I was a team dude. Like I thrive off of others, and the energy that I put out there is what I receive back. Like that's my whole motto. So I put out what I like to receive back. And then one day I was doing like video production at MacArthur High School. I was doing like a girls basketball game, and he was there. I was like dead serious. All right, I'm gonna come like an adult. Serious business, bro. Serious, bro. Ready to go. Okay. So I walked over there. I was like, sir, is there any openings at the radio? I just want to be there to learn. I don't have to get paid. None of that. I'm so interested in radio broadcasting. He's like, well, we just let someone go yesterday. Come in during your lunch period tomorrow downtown, and we can talk. And that's when we could leave campus.
Yes.
The young people can't leave.
No, they don't know how that
They don't know how to act.
No.
So we were able to leave.
In all reality, we ruined
We didn't know how to act.
We
and we
didn't know
jacked
how
it
to
up for
act.
you
Yeah.
guys.
That shutdown happened while we were in
100%.
school.
We could leave campus during lunch, like if we could drive.
And then fuckery happens.
And then the fuckery happened, and we jacked it up for the future generations. I'm sorry.
They learned.
They learned.
How were they so stupid before to think they could trust us?
No, right? I would not have trusted me to leave school and then come back.
No.
But I
it's
did
amazing
it.
anyone came back.
Yeah, I know, wasn't it?
So anyway,
I went downtown. We had a great conversation, and he offered me a position on the spot. So I didn't. People were like, so you interned or anything? I'm like, no, I started part-time in radio. It's my first job, and I'm still in it. Been through different owners and operators, but that's how the radio shindig started. And then how I got more involved in community, because I always knew growing up that I did not see a young, black, influential, cool dude like myself out in the community. I was like, man, wouldn't it be great to have somebody like that?
What if I could just be that
What
person?
if I could be that person?
Wait a minute, I can be that guy. I can be that cool
And then,
dude.
Yeah, you got a black president.
And I got a black president, so racism is done. Think some people. Don't get me started. This is
And
what
that
the
is our
podcast-
stance on
and
this
that's
podcast.
the stance on this podcast. What else do you want? Don't you got a black president? Your dingleberry? Your black dingleberry? That's what they were thinking. Your black dingleberries. Like, oh, I got you cracking up. Red. This is the Tat Show. Welcome.
Oh, man.
New podcast.
I'll just say triggering things to Tat, and then let him run with it.
Yeah.
And then he goes.
And then I go, pick it up. That's how I roll. Okay. What was I talking about? My life.
You being a young, cool
Young
black
black-
dude.
Right.
I was like,
I have heard this story like third person though of other people talking about you, and they're like,
shoot.
and it was basically what you said, where it was like, well, he just was like, well, why can't I be that person?
yeah,
Like there
started
needs to be change happening. Why
Yes.
can't I be that person?
absolutely.
And I was like,
I can't do that.
Yeah. Because you're not a cool black guy.
no, you're closer to the Archibalds than you are to the Tats.
You named me Archibald.
I would if I have a black son. I would.
Yay! Come on now. Whoosh. I did the sound effect. It shouldn't affect the mics. Okay? It should not affect the mics when I did
We
it.
should be good. Spencer, sorry.
Spencer's like, hurry up.
Like all this editing.
I got an
All this-
audible laugh out of Spencer. Spencer needs a mic.
Yeah.
It's been about 6 hours. That was the first one.
That was 6 hours.
You're welcome.
Oh man, feel good about that.
Should.
You're welcome, Spencer. You're welcome.
So you told Mother Teresa that you were going to be the change.
I became the change I wanted to see in the community.
Yeah.
And it was also because I was a young parent. I had my daughter when I was my senior year in high school in MacArthur. The last person you would think to have a child as a teenager. I was
Because you were the one teenager not having sex.
I
in
was
high
the
school.
one teenager they thought wasn't having sex. I was getting booty. Don't you ever? Okay? That's why they were so shocked that Terrance Taylor, the skinny black dude
That guy?
who runs track and does hurdles with a headband on, is having sex. Unprotected?
Effectively.
Yes.
I was it was a time because senior year was the best year. I was prom king, everything was going fantastic.
I was doing it.
I was doing the nasty. Occasionally it wasn't a lot, but it was
That happened.
it happened.
But that
least
happened.
once.
It did happen. It did happen. I used to be in high school towards the end because that's when Terrance was conceived, And I was just in there like, I'm here with all these kids. I'm about to be somebody's dad.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's mind blowing.
Prom King, I was like, this is beneath me. I gotta get another job while I'm over here getting crowned as Prom King.
Well, that doesn't pay well.
It doesn't.
No, that doesn't buy
Nobody
diapers.
cares when you have a child. And I'm like, I still haven't told my parents. I'm going to get murdered. I better enjoy this time.
Yep.
Because this might be the last time
This
I'm
might
able
be
to
to
dance Boogie Wonderland. Okay? Probably the last
Before
time.
my dad breaks
Before
my
my
legs.
dad breaks me into pieces. It was even worse. They were just disappointed. I've never experienced that. And I was even worse. So, being a young parent, I knew that I was going to combat the stereotypical black dad that's out there. So,
Which
the
is what?
stereotype?
what's the stereotype of not being involved or being, just a trashy dude? And I was like, nah, not me. I was raised better than that. So
You owe it to your parents
I owe
after
it
what
to
you
my
did.
parents after I just body rocking, knocking the boots.
Yet bringing shame on your
Bringing
house.
shame.
Deep
House of
shame.
Taylor.
The House of Taylor.
Oh, golly. Yeah, my friend's like, wait a minute. I don't know if I should high five you or
Yeah. Yeah.
but you had some
Was
sex.
just a
Tell
little
us about it.
sex. What was
Come
it like?
around, kids. Let me tell you how it is. It's not what you think.
Now that I'm a man.
It goes quicker than you think. It's not that long.
Let me just
For
tell
some
you.
of it. Let me just tell you. But it's
Was that your speech at prom?
Just leave your
when
socks
they, when
on.
they crowned you as king, you're like, let's all talk
Let's
about
all
this.
talk about sex.
Gather round.
Gather round, children, because this is ridiculous.
Yep, you're getting the birds and the bees.
Oh, man, it was something else. So anyway, back to
So wait though, you can't just go, I'm a young cool black dude and I'm like getting laid, so now I'm gonna be a community person. Like,
yeah, no, it didn't happen like that.
because people have to like give a shit that
You
you're.
gotta give a shit.
Respect.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I didn't care up until I had my daughter. Like as far as community engagement piece.
Did you think you were going to get out of town? Did you think you were going to go to college somewhere? Like,
I didn't have any plans.
You didn't-
Like,
okay.
I just knew I was having a good time.
Yeah.
Like being on the radio, even though I didn't even have a show back then, I was just, I work at the radio station. I would get cool points like, oh my God.
Oh,
Can I?
you're like
They didn't know I was just behind the scenes, just
doing levels.
plotted the mics.
Getting the weather formatted.
Oh. And the first shows I did was a jazz show on Friday nights, and then a Sunday show, several Sunday shows on Sunday. And I would say the Sunday, I hated it.
Really?
Pastors and preachers could be the meanest. Oh, my experiences with them.
Well, you sinner, you have a child.
Yeah.
Out of wedlock.
They didn't know that. I wasn't going to tell them that because they already had got on my nerves. So that's the last.
Yeah.
Never gonna get that info.
Well, what were they mean to you about?
Just about everything. Like, there was old school. So I knew once I got into the community and did community engagement, I was going to speak down to young people.
Yeah.
You speak to them, not, talk to them like kids.
At them.
Yeah.
Shaming them is never going to inspire anybody.
Absolutely not.
Ever.
No, there was no room for error when I was working for them. I hated doing the Sunday show, which doesn't exist anymore. So.
Oh, imagine that.
Yeah,
People don't want to tune into hatred.
No,
Imagine that.
Weird.
No, oh man, you would have thought that would be the last place where you were like, but I did not enjoy that.
No, I think we know now.
Yeah,
That's a pretty common place to pick up some hatred.
Yeah,
See how
and
our
judgment.
generation is now. We're like, no, forget all of that.
Yeah. No, I'm not
Forget all
available for that.
No, not available at all. So I started off behind the scenes, and then got the call. Well, it wasn't supposed to be the job position for me. It was for someone else who I happened to be in the meeting with this individual, and the program director for Hot 105.5, which is the hip hop and R&B station, was offering him the night position. And he wasn't taking it. I was like, what?
I'll do that.
I was in the corner, like literally in the. I can try that. Are you sure you don't want to do it? I'm over here like,
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. I'll do it.
Like, I'll do it. Fuck him. And then bam, he gave me a shot. He said, you know what? We'll see how you do for the next 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. Test run.
Test run. I remember I was at my uncle's when I got the call, like, hey, I want to offer you the full-time position.
Aww.
Brother, oh,
My big break.
Big break. Let's get into the money. There's no money.
No, I know. That's what I was going to say.
There's
$6.75 an hour.
Still no money. Still.
I was going to joke about that when you said, I want to be a rapper, but there's no money in it. And like, that's what people think I think about authors.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you've got this, New York Times bestseller. They're like, nah, I didn't make anything.
Yeah.
And then you chose the career path where that's broadcasting. And I can remember my advisors being like, you need to get on the marketing side of this.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't matter how
you might
good you
love
are.
it, but get used to the poverty line.
Yes, get used to it because it is real. I don't know. Even my wife today, like, how did you survive when you just was working at the radio station?
My winning smile.
The Lord.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I do think about that. I think my starting pay was $5.35 an hour.
Sounds about right.
Uh-huh.
I think I was excited when I started getting $7. $7.
Yes. It seemed like big money.
The jump. And they would make it sound like, hey, we're going to bump you. We're going to bump you up to 7. 7! Now you're just spoiling me.
It just makes me so sad.
Now I know, look, you haven't laughed once then.
Well, I've been there. I was in management working retail making $6.45 an hour. And but I made more money than anybody else there.
Right. And I will say, looking back,
college.
I made, that is true. I think about my peers, made more money than my peers. Because most,
because I made $2.35 serving, $2.35 plus tips, but $2.
Yeah. But you're hustling hard.
Yep, and I'm not even picking up that paycheck.
Because I didn't understand that being well known or recognized didn't equate money.
Nope.
That's the fame, and you can be famous. There's a difference between being famous and being wealthy.
And you don't get $5 for every time someone recognizes you.
Right.
At all. No. And then I realized that even the perks that I would get wasn't paying bills. I'm like, I got a
cool t-shirt.
2 cool t-shirts and some shoes, but I got a phone bill.
I can't
Right.
my kid
I got a
shoes.
car. Yes.
I got these new kicks for you. Oh, great. But transitioning from just being just a radio dude to now being a teen parent, trying to figure out what the hell it is that I'm going to do next, made me more involved because I was working nights. And me and my daughter's mom at that time were not in a good place.
I can't imagine that parenthood didn't enhance the teenage relationship.
I know, right? It just...
Parenthood is hard on a relationship of adults.
Solid, right.
But to be 17, 18-year-olds...
Oh, no.
Now you have a life that you have to...
You got to keep something alive. It's not a turtle. It's a human.
Human being is relying on me to do better. But one advice my father always said was like, you can be a fantastic dad and not be in a relationship with that child's mother or father, but you can... Only people who are not responsible will come up with excuses on why they can't and won't take care of their kids.
Can you even imagine if that was a thing parents said to their kids?
That's what I was going to say. That is sage advice because most families are like,
they stay together for the kids.
Stay together.
And you're selfish if you leave.
And we've talked about this with several other podcast episodes of
That's
like
toxic.
It is. And then the kids said that. And even if it's not animosity, so even if you're in a relationship or a marriage that is not fighting, if there is apathy and there's no love, there's no examples,
affection,
your
respect,
kids to see like
partnership.
My wife always want to like hug and stuff. Like I didn't grow up in that household. My parents didn't show each other affection. They didn't even sleep in the same room. But what? Like I grew up, people are like, how are you so lovey-dovey? But that's because I like to say I grew up in a cocoon of love. I was blessed to grow in a household where a lot of my friends and some family members didn't get to experience having two parents in the household who loved each other and were partners. So I knew what that was, and I knew that me and my daughter's mother was not that.
No, and you're going to teach your daughter how to be loved by being in this relationship that's not good.
Exactly.
And I get to work with women a lot. I get to talk to a lot of women about their relationships, and I've said to them, how would you feel if your child was in the marriage you're in now? And they're like, oh God, I'd be devastated.
Exactly.
You're teaching them that relationship, that this is what marriage looks like. And I remember when I was a kid, my parents were not affectionate.
Yeah.
And when I saw them kiss, I was 10 or 11, and I was like,
what the?
that was weird.
And it shouldn't be that.
And they loved on us.
Yeah. But not each other.
Nope. And so then I was like, this is so bizarre. And now, knowing what I know...
You know why?
Yeah. Yes. They were not
a fan of each other.
No.
Right.
We're not fans of each other. We were together for you guys. No, don't be together for...
No. Because your relationship is toxic. He's toxic. Yes. You're unhealthy. You're giving...
You're not helping.
Nope.
So
that's a huge cycle too.
Yeah,
it's a cycle
you
of
have to break
generational trauma and what I like to call the generational curses.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
I do it because this is what I've seen. I'm mimicking.
What else do I do?
Sweep it under the rug. Pretend like it doesn't exist.
We're not gonna talk about it.
Don't talk about it. Right.
Relationships are supposed to be toxic.
As opposed to just releasing each other and being like, hey, I want what's best for you. You find somebody that loves you. And I'll find somebody that loves me. And that's what our kid can see.
I congratulate my young self for getting out of that when I did, because when you stick in those type of toxic relationships, it causes more damage to you. So then you bring that into the new, and I seen that path, and I didn't want to.
And it affects your parenting as
well. That's something that my Dustin.
That is your Dustin.
He is your
My
Dustin.
husband Dustin, and I've always said is partners first, parents second.
Period.
We cannot be effective parents
if
we do not have a good partnership.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Any great relationship is a partnership. Like the glitz and glamour of any relationship is quickly fades. But to have that understanding that we're in this together, and that's what it's supposed to be.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm the owner of Bad Love Creative Co. I'm a photographer that services both Central Illinois and Chicago areas. This year has been incredibly difficult for me. I've had lots of cancellations due to shutdown. Prairie Commons Business Collective has helped me bring awareness to my clients. The marketing has let people know that I'm still here and I'm taking clients. I'm taking social distancing measures, and that is how my photo shoots go. Prairie Commons Business Collective has really helped get more clients and to reach new people. One of the things I love most about Prairie Commons Business Collective is that there's a place for everybody, which is something I value most. It's a community of people of all business types. So whether you're a crafter or a photographer like me, or even a furniture maker, there's a place for you.
May your day be filled with giggles. The place to come for cards and gifts, personalized just for you. Come and try our tasty treats. They will leave you giggling too. Oh, the brightest spot on Merchant Street will leave you happy and complete. May your day be filled with giggles.
Okay, so where are you at this point in your life? So Hot 105.5 happens.
Yeah.
Like, how old is your daughter? Like, where are you at life-wise? Have you started these dreams of, like, knowing that what you want to do and what you wanted to create?
No, I was in a place of, I wanted to break down the stereotype. I want to spend time with my daughter.
Yes.
So I worked nights. Therefore, I was able to spend my whole day at the schools, at school with my daughter, Terrance. So she was attending French Academy. So I was in there as like the parent is always
room mom.
I was the room mom, the room dad. And so I started building relationships with the other kids, with the staff, the teachers, and then word got back to the superintendent at that time, and they offered me a job with the school district. I said, what would it consist? So I was a family support coordinator. So that was my first add-on on top of the radio station.
So what's that mean?
Basically, since I already had built up my foundation as far as Tat on the radio and stuff, that helped me get into people's homes where students who needed services or needed some help or assistance with different stuff get those resources. It was harder for the school district to reach those individuals because a lot of them are black and brown kids. They don't trust a white lady just coming up to the door like, hey, why wasn't your kids in school?
Right.
Yeah.
Let me help you. Oh, So I could get into the places and spaces that a lot of people who are already doing that job couldn't. You know?
You were like such a facilitator to be able to be like, hey, I know the resources. Can I let me in your door and let me try to get you the help and let me point you in the direction, get you the people.
Tat, what's going on?
And I know intimately what you're dealing with.
Absolutely, because I've been there. I know the feeling, and we're just here to help.
And to be homegrown makes a difference too, because you went through.
Homegrown has made all the difference.
Right.
Absolutely. When you're from from the place that you serve, it makes all the difference. The reason why I am where I am today is because of being homegrown and building those relationships throughout my life.
Yes.
You know? Yeah. So at that time, then I started advancing in that space. So then I started connecting with different resources and connects around town, like Boys and Girls Club, Salvation Army, the Community Foundation. Then that's when I really started making waves. Then I got offered a job with at that time it was the new Enrich program at Richland as a essential skills facilitator. Did that, start going on that, teaching people day to day. What I always tell individuals is common sense isn't common.
Nope.
It's not. The way you're raised and the way I'm raised are different, so I can't assume that you know. You're like, you should know this. How am I supposed to know this when I don't? What are you talking about?
How am I supposed to know how to open a checking account?
You know this because that's how you've been raised and taught.
Right.
You can't place that on anyone else. So,
but that is a very common phrase of somebody just like spouting that out.
This.
It's common. Yeah, that should be common sense. Yes.
You don't mix your whites and colors for laundry.
Right. It goes back to then like how you talked about don't talk to youth that way. Like when you're gonna talk to them that way, they're never gonna listen.
Absolutely not. And they're not
gonna want to stay in your community.
And they're gonna be afraid to ask.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because why would I ask when you already expect that I should know?
I'd rather just suffer and not also be shamed.
Yes. Yeah. And I didn't want to be that guy. And the program at Richland allowed me that platform and opportunity to facilitate adults. Most of my students are either my age or older who have never had this type of unpacking of trauma, generational curses, how to navigate and respond to adversity. So that's what I teach in the classroom, which in turn led me to be the director of community engagement with the Community Foundation, which empowered me to start my own business with Tat Global Enterprises. Because I'm from a man to a brand, baby. You know?
Yeah.
When you say Tat,
100%.
it comes with a bunch of stuff. And I noticed that a lot of organizations and institutions was banking off of what I was bringing to the table. I'm like, why don't I bank off of me?
Yeah. Why don't I build my own empire?
Yes, and then I can get checks from everybody.
Right. You can consult and come into those businesses and in those realms and those different networking opportunities.
Build some generational wealth, you know. And that's something that's big and major to me. And have no boundaries or ceilings of how far I can go.
Yeah.
I can do all of the things without being hindered with just doing one or two.
So now you're running your own business. That's where you're at now, right? Brings us up to current. So what's like a perfect day for you look like?
This.
Smart guy.
Yeah,
right?
you see what
talking about Tat. That's a perfect
Where's
day.
my sweet treats?
Right.
I said what you wanted me to say.
Cupcakes, right? Cupcakes. Get that.
Yes,
bring
get
in
them.
the
Bring me
Spencer.
the
Bring in
refreshments. But it is this. It's what I realized when I went into business for myself during the pandemic, when I was also working at the Community Foundation, was we were all going through the same thing, you know? And one thing that a lot of us realize is that it puts in perspective what's important. And my time and spending time with my loved ones was of the utmost importance. And working a regular 9 to 5 is obsolete.
Yep. And the pandemic, for a lot of us, I think it removed the illusion of separation.
Oh, absolutely.
Where you said we're all going through the same thing. We were.
We were.
It
was divine intervention. It shut shit down for us to see that we are not where we thought we are.
No, and you really find out, like, what do I actually need?
What do I actually
because
need?
I think up until that point, everybody's just surving. You're just hustling, doing what you need to do, and it's the same thing.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about what you're going through because I'm distracted on the game or on the new Marvel movie. But when everything is shut down and you're having to face worldwide problems that have always existed. Because I, going through the whole Black Lives Matter movement and experiencing that as a black man, and then trying to. That's why I'm happy about the new normal.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back to the way things were.
No, and if the world hadn't been in this new weird place when everything happened, specifically with George Floyd, it would not have gotten the attention it got because we were all so busy doing
Because
this.
you're too busy.
Because it wasn't the first time.
Yeah.
But it was the first time that we were all doing. They had our full attention.
We had to experience it all together. You know? And it made a difference in me sitting in the office when honestly you're productive 2 or 3 hours out the day.
I mean, really don't.
But
don't tell people.
you're still worth the work that you produce is still worth your salary. You know,
100%.
and that's what old school mentality individuals, as far as business and institutions, organizations, have to understand is that that's why nobody is applying for your job because there's no freedom. Look at that! Oh yeah!
I'm supposed to post on Instagram.
Yay! Yeah, we got that on camera. Yes.
Of all things.
Yes.
Of all.
Keep this
she's
in
gonna.
here.
All right, go ahead and post to Instagram. We'll wait.
Nope, keep it in here. This is what I love.
Content real quick.
Get it.
Okay.
Yay!
Okay, you are 100% right though, because the corporate culture shifted. It was like I have.
Do you need a better transition? You can make sure.
No, I think you should just leave it.
Leave that in there.
I would leave it. It's so funny and good.
It's
This is what it
authentic.
means to be your own boss.
It is.
It's authentic.
And
Yeah, it
this is
really is.
also what it
things
means.
happen and alarms go off.
And
Alarms
this
go
is what
off.
it means to
You have to
be-
do social media posts. Boom.
Yeah, or I won't do it if
Or
I
you
don't set an
won't.
alarm.
Yeah.
And no one will die if you
Nope.
don't. But
'Cause I didn't,
have
I just-
clients that literally said, "Well, how are we going to know if they're working? If they're at home,
People
we're not
always
going to
say that.
know. We're not going to know."
What are
they
you
still
talking about?
producing what-
Even if you're at work, you know how many times I've been in an office? What are you talking about?
How many times my husband took his Game Boy to work?
Me seeing you and you seeing me does not justify you getting things done. One thing the pandemic showed was that it's not about the hours you put in, but what you're producing.
It is. It's all about
100%.
quality.
It's all about
Because
quality.
I've joked and I've told clients, I'm like, okay, look, I don't
do
want
I
to
know,
like
though?
shit on somebody in your organization, but like the number of times that I've walked in and like that, you talked about the Game Boy thing. I'm like,
You're paying them to do something.
I've
Let
seen
them
your
be at
front
home.
desk person
Yes.
shop. Like I see them every
Why
time I
can't
come in.
I have the freedom and flexibility to spend time with my son to give my wife a break?
Yeah, and
You know?
at
Because
home
you've
at
got a little
least-
one.
Yes.
How old is he now?
1.
Yes. Okay.
We started from scratch, so we got the whole gamut. It's a blended family, which is a whole nother show.
Okay.
I'll come back for that one. So my wife has 2. I had 1. And now we got 1 together. So it's a 19-year-old, 16-year-old, 11-year-old, and now 1-year-old. So the full gamut.
Yes.
Somebody left and somebody came in.
You just are going to do that again?
Nope. Factory shut down. Vasectomies.
Same.
Sponsored
by
Right.
Justin Porter and Tat.
Shut it down, fellas.
Yep.
Okay. I feel, hey, when y'all do the hard lifting, least we can do is shut the factory down. Taking birth
That's
control.
$1,500 you'll ever spend right there.
Because kids are $15 million.
They're so expensive.
Super duper expensive. Oh, no, what are you about to say though?
What were you going to say?
I don't know.
We were talking about corporate culture and the kids.
Oh,
Yes.
I know.
Are they really working?
Well, and when they're working from home, they're not using up your resources. They're not using your power, your internet, drinking your coffee.
There's no overhead.
There's no overhead. Let them be at home. That's Dustin works for Amarin, and they were like, hey, maybe we don't bring everybody back.
Yes.
I'm like, yeah, they're probably saving crazy amounts of money because they're not having to fill these office buildings with
And that's
furniture.
a great
I
example.
work more from home than I ever did in
Dustin
an office
started
space.
that way too.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's I honestly don't know what I would do if he had to go back in the office.
Oh,
I am not built for stay-at-home momming. I've learned the pandemic taught me that. I always said I was. I'm like, yeah, I'm a stay-at-home mom. The fuck I am. I do that with 8 hours a day of school and a babysitter.
Yes.
That does not happen. It's just I'm not cut out for it. And Dustin, thank God, has the flexibility of going, get up at 6. I put in a couple of hours. I take the kids to school.
Yes.
You know, and
it's beautiful.
It's so much. It's so much better. I love our lives.
Yes, and it should be like that across the board. Like, I serve on several committees, and I'm like, the reason why nobody's applying. Look, you talking about on site?
Yeah,
and that's it.
No, and we've all learned the value of our time.
Yeah. Oh, and it was something that the world experienced. Like, wait a minute.
I like being home.
I like being at home and having the option of, all right, let me put in some work and then do some laundry.
I'm at a tea party
And
with
how
my
many
kids.
times do we have projects that there's a hard deadline?
Yeah.
So, and this is how I always coach my team, where I'm like,
As long as you get it done.
yes, you know what
Of
the deadline
quality.
is. So if you are a better worker as a night owl, so be it. I don't expect everyone to be like me and get up at 5 and start going. Yeah. So
I have to tiptoe around the house like a ninja because my wife is not a morning person and she scares me.
I'm not unpleasant in the morning. I just choose not to participate.
See,
you just
you're
don't
the category.
exist in
I'm
the
not-
morning.
nope.
You're just in the room. You don't
I'm
even
all
exist.
excited. Good morning. Shut your mouth. Shut it and get out of my face.
I love how excited you are about life, though. I'm excited about life when I'm awake.
so excited.
But you just let me fucking sleep.
Oh,
And Dustin will be like, "Get out of Mom's room. She needs to
Yes.
rest."
I'll block you. Get out of here, kids.
Uh-huh.
My wife will come down like, hand me your son. And here you
like,
go. Here's your
"Here's your son."
And he's a morning person like, yay. And we're like, yay together. So we have a good time.
I'm going to send Jimmy over and you guys can yay together.
Yeah.
He's not
Jim would
five.
love that.
Oh, he would.
The energy.
Do you dance party at your house?
Of course.
Okay, Jimmy's
My
going to come
son
dance
is a
party.
professional jammer, and
He just said he didn't know how he was going to sit here without twerking.
Yeah, because twerking
so
is
you know
working
dan-
for me.
Right. so
Jimmy
you know
didn't
dancing.
feel good.
My
And
bonuses for
yeah.
myself.
Oh. Jimmy was not feeling good the other day and decided we have a pre-bedtime dance party every night. And he was like, "I'm not up for the dance party." And he's
Until that music
sitting
comes
on my
on.
lap and the music comes on and he starts going.
Little
Little
movement.
pelvic thrust happening. He's like,
Yeah, my son that's saying that. Oh,
Oh,
He's feeling it.
drop it.
no,
drop
he
it.
dropped
We're
little
gonna say,
baby drops.
we do. Get it, Jimmy. Get it. Get it, Jimmy.
And then now he like tries to move up, but he's just walking backwards.
Oh.
But I cheer him on.
Yeah.
I cheer him on.
He'll get it. He'll
'Cause
get it.
He's trying.
Right. See, Jimmy
It's
wants to be a
fun.
ballerina.
Let him see it.
I know.
Yeah.
That's his. He's like, "Mom, I'm going to be a ballerina." Well, I mean,
Have you seen ballerina's toes? Yuck. Destroyed.
let me just show him pictures and
Join
crush
of-
his dreams.
Of
The
never
gnarly
mind.
blood.
Oh my lord. A ballerina's toes.
They're gross. The
They
whole
are.
foot.
The whole
foot's pretty-
foot.
This is
See,
the
I stood
teaser
off
that
in
we're
the
going to
distance.
use for the episode. Because
Have you
people are
seen
going to be like,
Have you seen a
"Ballerina's
ballerina's
toes."
toes?
Yeah.
You should watch this episode.
Beat the fuck up. Yeah.
They're going to have no idea. That's what they're going to think it's going to be your next
They're
endeavor.
gonna have to watch
Yeah.
all
They're
the
going to be
way
like,
to
"Do you
the
think
end.
Tat's
I like to
going
do
be
it
a
all.
dancer?" Yeah.
Yeah, people always, you do like 1,000 things. Literally, I do.
Yeah, and I never get bored.
I never get bored, and that's why I love that. Like that's the main reason why I was so adamant about the brand and me venturing off and having multiple things because that's what we do. We enjoy different things. It's not just one thing.
We're not one-dimensional people.
We're not one-dimensional people, and what I experienced the adversity is people will assume that me doing other things will take away. No,
Have you
enhances
read?
that.
it enhances.
It does.
Give me some jam.
That's good. Have you
It
read
enhances
the
things.
book where it? No, what's the name? Hold on.
Look at that. You thought you had it, but you
did.
didn't. You didn't.
Oh, the places will go.
Nope.
Pop on pop.
Liz Gilbert. The
Big Magic?
Thank you.
Oh,
Okay, have you read Liz Gilbert, Big Magic?
I have not.
Where it basically talks about talent, quality, creativity. There is no
Finite.
There's no,
No.
finite amount of it.
No.
So I think whenever I started a business collective with all these makers and crafters and things like that, it was like, well, I make candles and this person's a crafter. So there's no way like we're competing. We have the same. No, you have the same demographic. Like that's
There's-
a bonus. Everybody
Yeah.
who wants jewelry wants candles.
Facts. Me being
But
on the radio,
competition is scary.
Yes, or facilitating with young men about how great they are and how they should. It's not going to take from something
No.
else. It's going to be like, oh, so Tat is in this project with you guys.
Yes. And your greatness isn't depleted. So your energy isn't depleted by going into multiple organizations.
It's the old school mindset.
It is.
And I have trouble with trying to convey that to those individuals who have that mindset of, well, no, it's
Competition's bad.
No. It's not competition. We're
It's not.
I'm not competing with anybody. I want us all to win, and we can't.
You're competing with yesterday's
Years
you.
and years
Yes.
ago, I met 2 people from Shipshewana, Indiana. So this would have been, maybe 2004 or something like that.
Okay.
Both of them are entrepreneurs. They're in that like Amish sect.
Yeah.
They grew up Amish. And both of them are very fiercely competitive with each other. They both have hotels and things like that. Okay, but the point of it is they said, we know, like, we just want to drive people here, and then we'll fight as to who has the better hotel, who has the better, whatever, tourist services and things like. And that has been such a huge part of like, you're gonna get some people on board, and the others, it's like you don't try to convince those people. No. It's like you can just see me work, and then eventually they're either gonna hop on board or they're gonna stay, and they won't progress.
I heard a really good analogy in relation to competition versus a rivalry.
Ooh,
so competition is where Starbucks moves into town and the mom and pop shop goes out of business because they didn't rise to the occasion. So I go into the mom and pop shop and I say, I want a latte with oat milk, and they're like, we don't have oat milk. So they're not choosing to elevate, so they go out of business. Rivalry is healthy, like the two college football teams that are rivals. They will continue to get better and better and better because a healthy rivalry is fun,
and it enhances your community. Your community will not grow without that type of those relationships. Is really what matters and makes a huge difference.
And fighting against that old school mentality of 1 9 to 5, and it hinders. It's hindered a generation, and now we're forcefully getting out of that. And you have people who are fighting against it and they're losing. You can't fight change.
No, you can't. And at the end of the day, we always say, like when you're on the interstate, you're going to pull over at the place in the exit that has the most things on those blue signs.
Yep.
Like you look at that and the perception and perceived value is.
I have options.
I got options. There's value. That's growth.
This is the place to be.
That's You're like, oh no.
That's probably
one of them's closed. They're both probably gross.
Right. Exactly. May get abducted.
Yes.
I don't want to. Exactly. But it's no different for any town. It's like when you start looking at your small town, your businesses and your boutiques and the services and consulting that your homegrown people have, or that people are coming in and see opportunity in your community. You want that. You want that for your kids. You want to be in a school district that there is growth or that there is value.
That we're enhancing and advancing.
Exactly. As opposed to just being like, all right, we graduated and now we got to leave.
No.
We're not coming back. Like there's so many communities that are dying because those students and they don't come back.
Hey, don't get me started. I'm all about that growth.
Yeah.
Like it has, and that's something that's super duper important to me. Like that's on top of me having children, and I always believe like for me to have my child safe and grow up in a prosperous community and environment, I have to get involved. You know, so I would take the what was it called? What was that Decatur magazine? It was a little one.
Oh, Thrive.
They would have like a calendar in there, and I would
do all the things.
I would just show up.
Yep.
Token black guy.
With a bunch of other white moms. A bunch of white stay-at-home moms.
Oh my God. What is this black guy doing?
What?
Oh, what?
Excuse me, sir, you lost.
Oh, you lost? No, I'm trying to see what's going on.
Being a dad.
I'm here to fundraise. I'm here to participate.
I'm here to get involved. So people say, how'd you get started? I just showed up to places I wasn't invited. And that's how I got started. And then once again, people love not to be racist. Like, hey, I'm not racist. I know Tat.
Everybody knows Tat.
He's my boy.
You think Tat doesn't know racist?
You gotta know more than just me.
Yes.
He came to one of our meetings. Okay, we're
progressive.
We're progressive because we sound like Tat.
Tat showed up. Yeah, I showed up to all.
Okay, I've got a question for you. So, imposter syndrome. Everybody's seeing where you're at today.
Yes.
And they're like, I can do that. And I know you've seen it because I've I've taught at Richland. You see the youth where they're like, I want to be that, and I want to be that tomorrow. I want to be where you're at,
and I've got the personality.
And I've got the personality.
Yeah.
How do you speak to that? How do you speak to that?
Well, it's always easier from the outside looking in, like, oh, I can do that. I'm hilarious. I'm fun. But it's the trans. We can translate that. You know, I know a lot of people who are hilarious and great personalities, but when you put a mic in front of them, they freeze up.
No, but I seriously think about that, where people are like, I could do what you do. Or they start a marketing firm, or they'll start telling people, oh, I do websites too. I can do this. I start, and I'm like,
what I do, I speak to that by cultivating them.
Well, you're telling us about I show up for everything.
Yeah.
Is that same person showing up for
Exactly,
everything?
and that's what
I bet
I
you're
do.
not. You did your time.
You did the pro bono.
You have to do the pro bono. You have to show up. It's more than just picking up the mic and getting noticed. It took time for me to get to where I'm at. A long time for me to get to where I'm at. And
not just time. Effort. Experience.
Sacrifice. Failure. After
I mean, we can speak to that. I mean, I've been in business 13 years, and I've been self-employed, and I have people come in and go, I do all the same things you do. I've had a lot of $0 nights, and I have had a lot of
I've done a lot of events for free.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yep.
You know?
And Cassie too.
But are you willing to do that to? And this is what I tell them. At the end of the day, it's about relationship building.
Yes, and it's the long term. You got to play the long game.
You can be fantastic with just you, but are you cultivating and building relationships? Are you going up there, showing up and networking?
You see yourself that way. How does everyone else see you?
Yes. Do they even know that you are who you say you are? Would like to be. So I'll bring them or invite them along to different stuff. A lot of them don't show up.
Don't imagine that.
Yeah.
Because it really is. I think that they think that success is instantaneous, or whatever you want to say, whether it's the word is success, but relationships don't happen instantaneously. No. And one event, one event doesn't do it. It's like they have to know that you're engaged, and whether it's an organization or their business or whatever the case is, and it's like you really value who they are and know that if this business or this organization leaves our community, the fallout that has, the ripple effect that will have and cause on families that people don't even realize.
And that's what it is. You have to spend time and be authentic. One thing about our generation, especially the younger generation, is about not just showing up but being authentically you. We can smell when somebody's not being themselves.
And if you are not someone who has fine-tuned your intuition and you know what it is, you might just get this feeling. But you have to train yourself to learn and to listen to that. And the same way that you're learning how to read that in other people, they're reading it on you.
Off of you.
Yes.
You cannot
you
fake
can't
your
bullshit
vibes.
that.
You can't bullshit it. You can't. Not your vibe and your energy. It's
you might be able to in short bursts.
Yes.
Right.
But if you're going to build what Tats builds,
it's a brand.
You got to be real.
We are the secret sauce. We're the brand. Our name holds weight. So it's the consistency, and not just in person, but on your platforms. I tell the young people, especially with the social media, you know, you have to be you all the way through.
And sometimes that's not pretty.
No, it's not.
We'll go all day. Yes,
I know.
We need more Tat.
This is part one.
I really do. I think it needs
whatever your next big project is, we need to have you come and talk on it.
Yes. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. We need to.
Yes, this is just part one of part 27.
Yep, this is going to be an epic, just a whole, we're going to put this on disc.
Laser disc.
We're gonna release an anthology of Tat.
Yay!
The Tat anthology.
Let's get it. I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
That is a thing.
Put it on the radio. All right.
There is a lot of stuff that we have not even, we just like scratched the surface.
Yeah, we have. Yeah. This is just surface level stuff.
It is. And at least now viewers and listeners know who you are. They now can say that they know Tat.
Yeah.
I get to too.
Yeah.
You definitely do.
We met 5 minutes before this recording
No
started.
joke.
Right?
And you can
looky
tell.
here, your life has changed.
I know.
Life has changed forever.
But you need more of that insight.
Yes. So
I'm
you,
down.
you better come back for it,
You daggone right. You better come back.
viewers and listeners. Otherwise, Tat's going to get you. That'll be his next big
like
project.
Candyman? Oh my God. Oh my Lord.
And this has been an episode
Episode of something.
of Left at the Door.